Hi there. I once did a video, one of the first times. I'll just wait for this lorry to go past. Right, take two. I once did a video from this field, one of the first times I was ever in it. I found the most incredible things and I wasn't expecting it at all. But the reason I'm talking about that was that the rain was so bad that I couldn't film. I could just do pictures with my camera, otherwise all my stuff would be destroyed. And it's a bit like that today. They forecast really, really heavy showers. So I'm going to dart in and out. It's not cold, but I'm going to have to dart in and out of the rain, I think. And with my newfound knowledge of how to dig deep signals with this machine, see 2 or 3 videos ago, I've come back here. I've done this field lots of times now, and just concentrating on the deeper targets. Not that you necessarily need to, because the field is usually full of molehills. Moles love this place, and there are lots of signals that are very close to the surface. So I dig everything in this field. It's not like the other one when I don't dig stuff close to the surface. Here you've got to. And I found a little Roman coin already, not a particularly good one. I think it's Valens or Valentinian from what I can make out of the reverse, which is, I think it's the emperor leading the small boy from under the tree or something like that. It's not a particularly good coin, even though the emperor's head is very visible, but I think that's Valens or Valentinian, and that means it's late 4th century, and I find a lot of those here. And a few bits of lead that I haven't found before, so all quite exciting. And then this, now, I'll plug you in quickly. I can't find the splitter, annoyingly, which means that every time I want to show you something, I'm going to have to take my earphones out and put this in. But it might be worth it. But I'm not going to do it over and over again. Now, in the ground, it sounded like just a very flat piece of copper, a little bit like the end of a cartridge. Really not much to talk of at all. And it's still sounding very, very flat, isn't it? Now, I haven't even picked it up. It's where I left it. But it looks silver to me. You can hear the electric fence chirruping away there. And there it is, look, that's a silver bust, isn't it? And it's heavy, so I think it must be a Denarius. But making that sound, let's have hang on a second, let's just put it just there. Now that does not sound like silver to me. Silver in this machine usually rings up a lot higher. On most machines, thick silver usually does. It might be what's called a forgery, which is a contemporary forgery, i.e. a copper coin silvered to look like a silver one. And I think there's a bit of copper leaching coming out there at the bottom. So that's very well what that might be. But yeah, there's quite a lot of green on it, whether that's the core of the coin or just copper around it. It's a very, well... Hi there, welcome to headquarters. We've come here now very, very quickly because in my excitement at the time, I completely forgot to do a close-up of that coin. So what I was doing was just talking to you about all sorts of stuff that you couldn't... Got Tasky here and I've got my son outside playing, so they'll probably both make an appearance at some point. And since I was talking about all sorts of things that you couldn't see, I thought let's come back here very quickly and have a proper look at it. Now I was right, it is what's called a forgery. That's F-O-U-R-R-E accent, acute accent E, which is a French word, and it basically means stuffed. And it's the word we use to describe a forgery. And that's why it didn't sound like a silver coin, because fundamentally it's copper. And that leaching I was talking about, well, I'll show you now. It's the copper core sort of bleeding out through the silver. And you can see on both sides you've got it. So that's why it did not ring up as a bonking great big thick silver coin, which is what it should be. Now, I had a quick look at Wikipedia on Forgery Denarius. Funny enough, the first Denarius I ever found was this one. And I was rather upset. I cleaned it within an inch of its life thinking that the silver was tarnished. And it's not. It's actually a Tiberius coin. It's got Vespasian on it, I think, but I think it's Tiberius. And you can see really clearly where the copper core is. and the silver on top, even though that would have been a beautiful forgery because the details really still rather good. But anyway, they had an awful lot of trouble telling the forged coins, the fures, from the real denarii back in the day. You don't have that problem these days, do you? Because as you saw at the time, it did not sound like silver. It gave a really copper tone, and that's why. Now here is a proper denarius I have to hand. This one's of Faustina Junior, the wife of Marcus Aurelius, and you can see it's a just lovely raised bust, beautiful writing, beautiful legend, beautiful reverse, and that's because it is. And also interestingly, you can see where it's been a bit bashed and a bit squashed. It's because it's solid silver. That's what they should look like. But they are rather fun finding these contemporary forgeries as well. And there was all sorts of ways, look it up on Wikipedia, that they tried to be able to verify whether a coin was silver or not, because especially come the crisis of the 3rd century, and under certain emperors like Nero, there was very little silver in the denarius anyway. I don't understand the economics of it, but by putting less silver in, you get more coins for less money, la-di-da, la-di-da. That can lead to economic crashes. So there are those 3 coins. Also, even nicer for me is that it's a coin, it's an emperor that I haven't found before, and he's called Maximinus. Here he's known as Maximinus Pius, but he was more commonly known as THRAX. He was a Thracian who rose through the ranks of the army, first emperor to do so, to not have come from the patrician class or the knighthood class. He was a commoner effectively, and he took over after the assassination of Alexander Severus in 235 AD. He only reigned for 3 years, but it is commonly believed that, well, not believed, the start of what they call the crisis of the 3rd century, which was about 50-60 years of non-stop civil war, about 300 people wanting to be emperor at the same time, a fascinating time of Roman history, albeit rather complicated. They reckon that came in with him, because even though we had the ridiculous Elagabalus before Alexander Severus, the Alexander Severus ruled for quite a long time. I think it was for 15-20 years, and under a period of relative peace. But come this guy, THRAX, who sounds like he should be really a character from the Marvel or DC comics. When THRAX comes in, that signifies the beginning of the end. Well, it's not quite the end, because it does pick itself up at the end of the 3rd century, the empire, and experiences a bit of a better time of things before finally submitting in the sort of early 5th century. So that's it. A Maximinus THRAX fure denarius. And thank you very much for listening to that. We'll come back a couple more times, but we'll go back to the fields now. Anyhow, look, we've got an emperor on that side, a denarius. I'm not sure who it is, and we've got the god or whatever on that side, and that's just incredible. A Roman silver coin, I think. Can't think what else it would be. It needs to be cleaned up. I've not found Roman silver for a long time. So that's incredible. We won't go back with it straight away. We'll wait till we find something else and look at it at headquarters then. I'm absolutely thrilled with that. It's got what I was not expecting. I've not found Roman silver in this field. Well, that's a lie. I found a Siliqua all the way over there. But this is earlier, I think. It needs a good clean, and then we'll check it out. But wow, what a fabulous start. Anyway, as I said, it's going to rain, so we'll be rushing around a bit. But God, brilliant. Kidding you. I'm going to have to go back through all my fields. It's taken me a year to learn this, to finally learn this machine. All my passes, it's going to open up a whole new metal detecting experience. I didn't live dig this because I promise you I honestly couldn't hear it. It was the faintest buzz. When I started taking out the stuff, I couldn't hear it at all. I'd lost it. It's not that much, it's only a pinpointer or so, but it's what it is, which just absolutely amazing at 8 or 9 inches, and it's just a little Roman coin. It's the smallest, thinnest little copper Roman coin, at that depth. That machine picked it out at that depth. Now, to be fair, flies are going to get me. I don't even know what made me dig it. Maybe it was the force more than anything else, because there was literally nothing to go on at all. But it's got, but that's what it is. I think again, it's another 4th century. Well, there's an emperor on that side, and then quite a well-known reverse of the emperor on the horse spearing, well, the emperor spearing the captive on the horse, or the emperor spearing his native. But it's not the best coin in the world. Again, it's probably Valentine or Valens. It's just the fact that I dug it from that tiny coin at that depth. It's just phenomenal. Gosh, we all see things in lead, don't we? Some of us more than others. I'm still sure I found a little copy of the Sistine Chapel in a lead blob, along with a Celtic dolphin once, in my first week of metal detecting. But that looks like it might be something, doesn't it? It looks like a fleur-de-lis or something. Don't think it is. I think it's a lead blob. Quite deep it was. No. Well, we'll clean it up and see, but I think that's just a lead blob. Well, the sun's come out, and I think I've just found something absolutely wonderful. It's square in shape, and I'm sure I can see a pin sticking out of it. It's one of the most ornate, smallest buckle stroke brooches I have ever found. Now let's just try and get some of the mud out of this. It's so delicate. I'm going to have to be so careful with this. I mean, the craftsmanship on something so little is mind-blowing. I mean, I just don't understand, without a magnifying glass or a microscope, how you could possibly, look at the size of it, how you could possibly have made something like that. Now, I think it's copper, or is it silver? I'm not sure. It's very flat on the back. Still got its pin there. I'm not going to try and get that round too much. I don't want to break that now. That's the last thing I want. But that's just absolutely gobsmackingly beautiful and gobsmackingly small. I mean, I've never seen anything quite like it. I mean, now I'm getting all the mud off it, and it's just phenomenal. I mean, that's got to be silver, hasn't it? I mean, to remain in that, to be so sharp still, I think it must be. I don't think that can be copper. I don't think copper would have survived. Anyway, wow. Look, we've got enough. We've got easily enough now to go back to headquarters. I think we're better with this, because that's just wonderful. And I'll start doing some live digs in a minute, because I think it's going to be worth it. Okay, let's go. Well, we could not have a look at this. This is the, come here. Come here, don't touch it. Come here. I've got double trouble at the moment, because I've got him and him to look after at the same time. And I do think if I ever had my life over again, I'm not sure I'd necessarily have these two at exactly the same time. We could not have a look at this little brooch. I mean, I have never found anything quite so ornate, so fragile. It's still even got its pin in it. I thought it might be silver, because I cannot understand how the points of it have remained so crisp, and how it's in such amazing condition. There's no corrosion on it whatsoever, and I can't really impress on you how tiny it is and what workmanship must have gone into that. I mean, it's absolutely, the mind completely boggles. I found a slightly bigger one here not long ago, which was also in a video of mine, maybe a month or so ago. It's half the size of that. Now, I put it on the detectinghub.co.uk. They are known as lozenge-shaped brooches for obvious reasons, and there's plenty come up. They tend to date between sort of 12th century, so the sort of 14th century, but my God, that must have been a very classy thing once, but God knows. I mean, I can hardly see it here, so I don't know on what sort of form of decoration it would have taken, if you know what I mean, because it's just, but anyway, I mean, it is one of the most incredible things I have ever found, in the most incredible condition, and I can't stop looking at it. It's just As I said, I put it on the detecting hob. There's a picture of it there against a 1 penny piece. That gives you some idea of how absolutely tiny it is. Kath said it looks like a type of grey copper alloy used in early crotal bars. Come to think of it, that does make a bit of sense. That very dark sort of tin based alloy. Well, that's probably what it is, because I don't think it is silver. Doesn't look like silver. But if it was pure copper or pure bronze, I don't think the points would have remained as beautiful as that. I won't waste any more of your time here now, because we do come back one more time and we've got quite a lot still to get through. So thank you very much for listening, and let's go back to the fields. Well, I've just dug up another couple of fabulous Roman coins. One was a very dodgy signal, one was less dodgy. Now, what's the reason for me, this is probably about the 4th or 5th time I've been in this section of the field, that I'm digging up things I haven't found already? Well, first I'm digging up the dodgy signals. My friend Tim in America pointed out, with the video I did about the deep signals, he said, I dig those signals, you know, at the end when I've finished with all the obvious ones. I have definitely done the obvious ones here, and maybe I'm just now going on to the slightly iffy ones and the deep ones. But still, it's just extraordinary. These are some of the best Roman coins I have ever found. Now, this tiny one came from about 6 or 7 inches. House of Constantine, I can see it fairly easily. Probably Constans or someone like that. It's got a beautiful soldier and a single standard. They came after the soldiers and 2 standards, when the coins, they reckon, became smaller. They only could fit 1 standard. So that's likely to be one of the sons of Constantine. And then this one is an absolute cracker. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful coins I've ever found, and it's going to clean up beautifully as well. It's another Constantine. And it's got winged victory on the back there, and we'll just get so much information off that. It's just it's a beautiful coin. 2 incredible coins. I mean, two more incredible coins. I just so lucky today. As I said, it's been raining a lot. The ground is really moist, and perhaps signals are coming through better. Well, here's quite a nice one. A buzzer. It's a little bit flat sounding, but I've not really, apart from 1 or 2, dug any obvious signals today. They've all been... That might just be lead, but we've got to start live digging. It's been such a good... I'm sorry I haven't done... I've just been too busy having fun to set up the cameras. Yeah, quite a lot of iron around here. That's a nice signal amongst a load of iron. Right, out. Well, it's very near the surface. Doesn't matter. I've just dug a Roman coin up there. The second one I showed you just now. It was a double beeper. It sounded, it was almost on the surface because of the mould. Just there. So just a couple of inches in. Nice and gently. It's just a piece of lead, would you believe it? That's all it is. A tiny piece of lead. No wonder I'm not live digging. What a pain. Don't worry, we're going to find more. That sort of day. There'll be plenty of stuff. We'll live dig a really obvious one next. They're moving the cows. Very orderly load of calves are being moved into, fortunately, they're just going to go through my field and they're going to go up to another one. Here they come. being a bit tentative. The chap there with the green bag shaking it. So obviously, suspect that's got food in it. And here they all come. This is just my iPhone. One thing they're no good at, these phones, they're brilliant cameras, aren't they? But no good at distance. This one a go. It's a bit of a pain having to unplug my headphones and plug this one back in. So even with the next live dig or two, I might not be switching around so much. It's just wasting time. I don't know where I put the splitter, which splits the single unit from that into this and that, but it's gone. Now this. That's really nice. It's a bit irony, but that's because it's very clean there. It's definitely its own signal. What a day. And all the ones we've found so far, just holes that I've been thinking, better get this out of the way, better get this out of the way. Well, it's sounding, I mean, that in this field, that's got to be a Roman coin. I don't think it can be anything else. It's clipped and small and coppery. And I've just got something to show you as well, whatever it is. Because I found, yeah, it's a tiny Roman coin. Look at that, in absolutely beautiful condition. Again. I mean, all the Roman coins in this field are basically fabulous. Now that is a tiny coin, but the detail, the legend is good. It's got an emperor on that side, and then we've got, well, I'm not sure, yeah, it looks like this, looks like a soldier, not so good on that side, looks like the soldiers and the standard again, but just wonderful. Now look here, I'll just bring out a couple of the better Roman coins. Gosh, we've had a good day. And then this. Now look, when I first brought that out, it was nice and green and round and worn, and I thought, well, I got another Roman coin. It's not, it's just as nice though. It's a little Victorian farthing. And if you put the two together, I mean, there's not much in it, is there? Look at those three there. And Victoria, and even on the back, I mean, Britannia, the image of Britannia is almost taken exactly from the Roman image of Britannia. So actually, for once, I thought, I'm quite pleased it wasn't a Roman coin. Just a really nice Victorian farthing will do me. Look at those. Thrilled with that. Anyhow, just what a day, what a day. Well, I won't plug in for this one. This is much more obvious. It's just taking too much time to switch everything around. It's very high pitched and quite wide. So it could even be a bit of aluminium can or something. But it's an unusual signal in this field. So that's why I'm investigating. But it is loud and ballsy. Rifle round, it sounds like a big army rifle round or stalking round. Whatever you call those big 303 bullets. And it's still in there. Yeah, it sounded big and ballsy and deep. I don't like it, it's too squawky. Bit of unusual pottery, I think, that. Yeah, it's sounding like a can, sounding like a big, deep can. Oh my God, what is it? Do you know what it is? I think it's a shaving brush. Or a paintbrush of sorts. I'm not going to get the camera out for that, but that's what it sounded like. It looks like a shaving brush, it's not a shaving brush. I think it's a paintbrush of sorts. Well, look here. Sounded like a coin. It's not. Finally, something that's not a coin. Not that I'm complaining. It's been amazing. I think it's a little buckle. Haven't got all the mud out of it yet. I can feel it's still got its pin. Hooray! That's a lovely one. Now, I think it's got to be Tudor like that, hasn't it? Maybe slightly earlier. Little spectacle buckle, but just with its pin. The condition of things in this field, to have found two tiny buckles, both with pins intact. I mean, it's just, things have been just so undisturbed for so long. It's just extraordinary. Now, I've not found that type before, with the sort of nodules on each side, just like up there and there. It's charming, just a charming little buckle. What a lovely little artifact. What a lovely little non-coin. Well, what a shame this wasn't whole. It's another piece of Roman silver. Now, this one is a Siliqua. And therefore it's a sort of 4th century, sort of mid 4th century, so roughly the same time as the other ones we're finding, the bronze ones. And it would have been an absolute cracker because they don't survive very well, these coins. And I'm not sure who it is, but we'll easily find out because that's just beautiful. That's not a silvered coin, that is silver. I thought it was a cut half at one point. But it's not a cut Roman either, it's just a very damaged one. But what a beauty. Gosh, 2 Roman silvers on the same day, that doesn't happen very often. My God, there's another one just here. It was a double bleeper. I thought it must have been I thought it must have been a ring pull or something. Because it really was on the surface, I mean, half a centimetre under. And look, it's just another beautiful Roman coin on the surface, on that where that molehill's been pushed back down. Gosh. Well, look, let's whiz back to headquarters quickly with all these because I think it might be worth it. I think some of them might be really lovely. And I'll probably put them all up on eBay as well for you because I think it might be worth it. They're all ones I found before, even though these ones are particularly good ones. So I don't mind them going to good homes, and it's you helping me out as well. So it works both ways. It's brilliant. I love it. Well, let's have a quick look at some of these coins because it really was just a bloody brilliant day for Roman coins. I mean, to find 2 Roman silvers, and this was the second one of them with this little Siliqua. Now, the Siliqua is the main silver coin that comes in the sort of 4th century, the sort of early 4th century, to become the main silver coin of the empire. Replaced the denarius. Didn't quite replace the denarius. There were large foluses which were silvered, but this was supposed to be a proper little silver coin. They're much finer, much smaller, and they don't survive particularly well, but they're interesting little coins all the same and lovely to find. And even though this is a fragment, it's really in still quite lovely condition. And you can clearly see the back of the emperor's head on that side and a goddess on that side. I think it's the Trier mint. I wasn't sure who it was. I did put it up on the detecting hub.co.uk information below, and Electus, who else, I put it alongside that Furre Denarius we found earlier. He said that it's Magnus Maximus. Now, I didn't know who Magnus Maximus was, so I searched it with Google. Magnus Maximus. He was Roman emperor in the West from 383 to 388. He came after Gratian. Now I do find Gratian coins, and I do find Valens and Valentinian, who are roughly the same sort of age. But this, I think, is the latest coin I've ever found. I don't think I've found after Gratian until now. So this is very late 4th century. Little bit of Roman silver in the form of a Siliqua fragment. So those two coins are absolutely brilliant. So I'm really pleased with that. Another emperor I haven't found, THRAX and Magnus Maximus. Two first for me, which is absolutely brilliant. And then these other coins, I find 4 or 5 really exceptional coins that day. I mean, it really was. Now I'm going to put most of them on eBay. There's that rather good, I think it's Valens. There's a rather nice Valens which I don't have, so I'm going to have to keep hold of that one. But the others can go on, and that one's a jolly nice one. Probably Constans. I've got a Crispus there. I've even got, which is really, really nice, one of the girls. I think that's Theodora. And I don't find nearly as many of the empresses or the wives or daughters of the emperors as you do the menfolk. So there's 3 or 4 coins there which I'll put up on eBay. And thank you very much for everyone who's been bidding on these coins, especially the ones from a couple of episodes ago. As I always say, if I feel you've been too generous, then I'll put another nice Roman or 2 in with it, because it's really helping. It's helping the channel. It means all the coins that I have already or copies of already, especially some of these barbarous coins, which are really, really fun. They go to good homes. The channel gets helped out, so everyone hopefully wins. And they're always going to be ones that I find in the videos. So hopefully everyone's happy. So I'll put those up on eBay. I'll have to keep these 2 bits of silver because I don't have them already. And thank you very much for listening to all that, and let's go back to the fields.
My God, I'm so sorry. Look, for those who like imprints, there's the imprint. This was so iffy, I thought I'm just going to dig it up. I'll live dig the next one. Look at this, it's just a cracking coin. It's a beautiful one. What does it say? It's a Invictus, I'm not sure, I'm not even going to guess for you. I've probably seen it 100 times. It looks like Winged Victory very, very clearly, doesn't it? And then a very Constantinian bust on that side. What a cracking coin. Wow. Okay, I promise we'll do the next one, I promise.
Well, we'll end on this one. Been an oddly predominantly Roman day, but I'm not complaining. It's been fabulous. But anyway, let's just, it's got, you could definitely hear the iron, but that's a clear buzzer amongst it. He says, now it sounds small to me. It's small and near the surface, I think. I don't think this is a deep buzzer. Probably it might just be a tiny bit of lead, but just want to, but it's still in there, I think. You can hear the grumbly ground. And it gets quite flinty quite early on this field. No, I'm pinpointing well today. It's tiny, isn't it? It's something tiny. Well, that's what we end on. The smallest piece of lead. But again, could have been a Roman coin. Look how tiny that is. It could have been a Roman coin. It could have been something nice. That's why, I mean, we found a lot of things today. And I've dug very few obvious signals because I've got all the obvious ones out. I've been here enough to have got all the obvious ones out. But what I'm left with is still fabulous, and there's going to be deep stuff down here as well. There really will, I'm sure of it. I mean, deep, bigger stuff. not just coins and little buckles. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. God, that was fun. Nice start to the autumn, that, and see you next time.